Ryan was kneeling in the bathtub, a towel under his knees and another under his hands. His head turned as he craned his neck to watch Brendan working. The younger boy swirled the spoon around in the over-large bowl before tapping it against the rim and laying it on the counter. You know it'll cool down a little once I get it in the bag, but is that good? Brendan bent over next to the tub so Ryan could slowly dip 2 fingers into the bowl, nodding once. It's fine. Brendan nodded again, reaching out to stroke Ryan's hair before standing back up and returning to the sink, where all of the equipment was spread out. The hook was already hanging from the shower curtain, so Brendan could hang the bag as soon as it was full. Go ahead and take the plug out, baby. His voice was soft, gentle, and start with your fingers. It was the gentlest of their darker interludes. No name-calling or hair-pulling or punishments for noises of pain. It hurt enough on its own, was degrading enough on its own. Brendan didn't need to add anything to that. Brendan felt a small tremor run through his body as he heard the soft moan coming from the bathtub. Knew the other boy had extracted the plug. He glanced up at the mirror, watching the boy set the glass plug on the edge of the tub next to the bottle of lubricant. Ryan picked up the bottle, desperate to fill himself as he opened it, dripping some of the lubricant onto his fingers. You need to watch in case the teacher comes in. And rubbing them. It was cold to the initial touch, but warmed up as his fingers moved. You're so fucking hot like that, baby, Brendan purred from the sink where the bag was nearly half full. Now, go ahead. Ryan flushed warm from the compliment, his wrist sliding down along his waist hip bone, the curve of his hand. This is ridiculous. And then his fingers were poised, resting against his entrance before pressing in. He was already loose from the plug, so it was an easy intrusion. He didn't even bother with more lubricant before pressing a 3rd finger in, moaning outright at the stretch. He started as he heard the click from Brendan hanging the bag. All ready? Don't sound so disappointed, the boy chided softly. You can keep your fingers in for a second. He almost added a soft slut, but stopped himself. Brendan leaned down, reaching for the bottle of lubricant, letting himself hover over Ryan for a moment, his breath tickling the back of the boy's neck. Just think about everything I'll do after, he whispered, before straightening back up and slicking lube across the tip of the nozzle and his own fingers. Okay. Ryan whined, but slowly pulled his fingers out anyway. He wasn't empty for longer than a few seconds. Brendan's fingers immediately sliding over his opening before pressing in, then pulling out to press in the tip of the nozzle. Breathe, he murmured, fingers running down the boy's spine. I'm going to now, okay? Wait, Ryan choked out. I'm going to now, Brendan repeated, voice a little harder this time. You're fine. He kept his fingers running along the boy's spine as he loosened the clamp. Ryan bit his bottom lip, moaning as he felt the first rush of the warm milk sliding into his body. The beginning of the enema was always like Brendan's fingers were now, smooth and soft almost. The cramps would come soon enough, but Brendan's fingers would still be the same. When they started, one of Ryan's hands flew up to his stomach, and Brendan stopped the flow without a word, letting the other boy massage his abdomen to ease the pain. Just tell me. Okay, Ryan whispered, his hand still on his stomach.
It's a great conversation.
Brendan loosened the clamp again, and Ryan felt the warmth continuing to enter his body. He continued to try to massage away the dull ache of the cramps as he felt his stomach slowly begin to expand from the amount of liquid he'd taken. Stop, he choked out again. He wasn't supposed to ask how much, but he was desperate to know. He felt like he'd already taken half already, but he knew it was probably more like a quarter of the bag. Bren? He asked, voice close to cracking. I Brenny? His voice was weak. You're doing great, baby. The boy leaned down, letting soft kisses feather along Ryan's lower back. So good. The tears were starting to build up. Ryan could feel them in his chest, waiting there, another ache in his body. He let his head fall forward, trying to slow his breathing, trying to focus on Brendan's fingers instead of the liquid inside him. Okay, he whispered, voice cracking as the first tears slid down his cheeks. The flow continued, and Brendan slowed the flow without a say-so after 5 minutes or so. You're taking it so well, Rye, he cooed. He cooed. You've got half. He usually didn't tell Ryan how much he'd taken, but it had been a while since they'd done this, and he didn't want the boy to break before he managed to get both quarts in. Half? Ryan asked, voice timid as if he wasn't sure if he should be relieved or disconcerted. Brendan leaned forward, letting his lips kiss the back of Ryan's neck, then between the boy's shoulder blades. Are you ready for more? When Ryan hesitated, Brendan squeezed his hip. You can take it, baby. You've done this before. Ryan's head nodded a fraction of an inch, his breathing already laboured. He gave a small squeak as the milk started slipping into his body again. Please, please, I can't. He shook his head, the tears coming out for real now. Brendan clamped the nozzle again. I can't, Bren. Please, I need to. Please. The younger boy reached his hand down to Ryan's stomach, the curve of a belly that wasn't there usually. I know you can take this, he said, voice low, but not angry or disappointed. I know you can, Rye. He let their fingertips brush. But I won't make you, he added. It's up to you. Ryan hated that. It had been so much easier to go along with it if Brendan hadn't given him the choice. Now it was up to him to decide if he wanted to be selfish and disappoint his boyfriend, or not get rewarded, or just go along with it and deal with the pain. I'll try, he mumbled weakly, squeezing his eyes shut and biting his bottom lip between his teeth as he felt the flow again. Brendan slipped his hand down Ryan's stomach to wrap around his cock, gently stroking, trying to turn the whimpers that the older boy was now making into moans. So good, baby, he kept whispering over and over. You're taking it so good. Hurts, Ryan choked out. Break? Brendan locked the clamp again, letting Ryan rub at his stomach and try to catch his breath. It's almost all in, he said gently.
What are you doing on the floor?
Stroking the other boy's erection. Jesus Christ! Just a little bit more. I know you can take it, right?
Okay, stop.